In part one, we talked about whether President Bush was a villain of 9/11 or a victim. I am convinced he was a victim of 9/11. They were out to get him. Were they trying to kill him or just to scare him? I believe they were trying to frighten him into going along with 9/11. Now, people have said, if this were true, President Bush is a coward. He should have gladly sacrificed his life to tell the world what he knew about 9/11. What if more than his own life were at stake? We talked about the people behind 9/11 knew the secret code word for Air Force One. They knew, quote, Angel was next. Did they know any other code words? Perhaps did they have any power to launch a nuclear attack? There are three incidences that we know of for sure involving nuclear missiles and unidentified flying objects in the vicinity. Now, I'm not claiming these unidentified flying objects were necessarily aliens. Perhaps they were from this Earth, but they were there during all three of these incidences. First incident we'll talk about was in 1982 in the Soviet Union, and in this incident, all of the Soviet ICBMs were armed for launch and made ready to launch. Such a signal could only come from Moscow, but it did not. It came from somewhere there, and there were UFOs in the vicinity. Second incident we're going to talk about was in 1967 in Montana with our Minuteman missiles. In this case, just the opposite occurred. Every missile there was totally shut down, so it was incapable of being launched. Just the opposite of the Soviet Union incident. Third incident was also, again in Montana in the United States in 1975. In this incident, the targeting tapes were modified, so the missiles were pointed at different targets than they were originally targeted for. So we have missiles being armed and being made ready to launch, missiles being totally disabled so that they could not be launched, and missiles where the targeting was changed to a different target. These three incidents we know about. Were there more? There could be hundreds more. The United States is not going to advertise this, neither the Soviet Union, because it's very scary, extremely scary. Now, did they take this seriously? You bet. They took this extremely seriously. There is a document called Agreement on Measures to Reduce the Risk of Nuclear War between the United States of America and the Union of the Soviet Socialist Republics. It was signed by both countries September 30th, 1971. Here's a quote from Article 3. The parties undertake to notify each other immediately in the event of detection by missile warning systems of unidentified objects or in the event of signs of interference with these systems or with related communications facilities, if such occurrences could create a risk of outbreak of nuclear war between the two countries. Both the United States and the Soviet Union took this seriously enough to actually put it in a signed agreement, the possibility that UFOs could interfere with the targeting of our nuclear missiles and accidentally cause a nuclear war. So, if President Bush were threatened with a nuclear war if he did not cooperate, then any reasonable person would have no choice